Gold this week opened up with a gap towards the upside, and we had a major push towards the upside. For the first time in history, gold has now broken into the 5,000s. And so gold has been kind of the same rinse and repeat story every week. We've seen gap towards the upside, all-time highs, pullbacks. These pullbacks get bought up, and then we just have continuation towards the upside. It's been very easy to look at the markets from a technical perspective. And of course, from a fundamental perspective, we can see what has been supporting this. Because what we've noticed over the past couple of weeks, and it's also the reason why I don't want to demonize the word tariffs, is that Trump will start out very, very aggressive, whether it's with tariffs or military threats, but then he kind of chickens out. They call that the taco trade. I actually learned that from a friend at the gym. And so if we think about it that way, we know that we can expect maybe some negotiations later on this week. The reason I say this is because if you read every single headline with that same level of urgency, and you think that every single time the word tariffs gets thrown out, that is something very bullish for gold, again, you're going to get it wrong. You have to understand the language. When you're mentioning tariffs, is it a form of escalation or a form of de-escalation, right? Are you lowering the tariffs? Are you raising the tariffs? Are you pausing the tariffs, right? Again, the word tariff itself does not mean that gold is bullish. You have to understand some context. Now, the next thing you want to do after you see that they are talking about tariffs, like for example, in this case right now, we're seeing more escalation talks with tariffs. South Korea wants to de-escalate the situation, and so that's why they're saying that they're willing to come up with some sort of tariff agreement, right? So again, we want to see now whether Trump is going to say he wants to make a deal with them or not. If we see that Trump does want to make deals, that's going to fall on the de-escalation side. That can take away some demand for gold. So again, I say this to not demonize that word tariff, and so you're not completely lost every single time you see that word pop up. Again, you want to have some context. Now, moving on to the technical side, we can see very clearly the daily time frame on gold, very bullish. We had a slight pause yesterday at all-time highs, but again, very, very bullish price action in previous days. And right now, we're also seeing some bullish price action. On the 4 hours, where I want to start marking off some levels. Because what I'm noticing here is we have all-time highs, just around the 5100s. And then I know that we have an area of interest here because of that gap. I can see that right there on the 1 hour as well, kind of where all of these wicks were being left, as you can see right here. We'll point that out on the lower time frames, but again, you can see the inflow of buyers that came in above those 5,000s. Above 5,000, ton of buyers came in, pushed price into all-time highs. The pullback took place. We basically corrected and filled this gap. And now we have rejected this 5,000s area and continue to push towards the upside. So again, very, very bullish still here. I'm going to mark off this area right here, which we are forming right now. Some sort of resistance around this area. What we'll have to do is confirm in the next 30 minutes if this candle actually closes bearish. But again, we can look at the lower time frames right now, and we can see just what I was talking about. The strong buying pressure that came in above this area. You can see the continuations after you get those rejections. Again, multiple rejections, multiple continuations. And then you have this area of interest around the 50-70s where you can see price breaking above, retesting, pushing, kind of reacting around this area before pushing into all-time highs, more retest. So we can clearly see that around the 50-70s, there is some sort of price reaction around there. We can see that even with gold rejecting so aggressively here, this was a push of almost 600 pips that we saw in literally about 5 minutes, right? So again, very, very volatile markets. And even with such volatile markets, price still came to the 50-70s and showed reactions. So above the 50-70s is where we would want to be on the lookout for continuations and further buys. And then also above all-time highs with this current narrative that we're seeing. If we're going to be rejecting this area and we're going to show some exhaustion, I would be on the lookout for pullbacks back into those 5,000s, where if we can reject, I would really just use that as an opportunity to look out for buys. I wouldn't really be looking to adapt unless the fundamentals change and if we are trading below these areas. That's what I would want to combine to be on the lookout for more sells. But for now, sticking to the bullish bias, fundamentals are bullish, technicals are bullish, so there really isn't any reason for us to try and fight that.